In New York City after taking the show on the road for the last 2 weeks to Los Angeles. Boy, I thought things were expensive here in New York, Paul, but we tried to stay at the Motel 6. We couldn't find them because they can't afford to leave the light on for you there. California. Really expensive. Let me tell you how expensive. My mother, bless her heart, came with us. She wanted to visit the famous Santa Barbara Mission. It turns out they have a 2-drink minimum for Eucharist. A 2-drink minimum. And while we were there, the big news station in LA, KTLA, reported that 60% of the women polled on the street in Los Angeles, and I think we all know how painful that can be. But 60% of the women polled, when asked the question, where would they draw the line on a first date? They said dinner and a movie, and that's it. Now the other 40% gave a little wiggle room, Paul. 20% of those said dinner and maybe a porn flick, if the male actor looked like Geraldo Rivera. And the other 20%, those would be the floozies, Paul. They said they'd definitely consider sex on the first date, but only if it could be either on or immediately adjacent to the salad bar at Sizzler. Say hello to the hardest working man in show business, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Schaefer. For tuning into the show. Paul, I understand you had a great time on the road in LA too. I hear you wrote some new material for the band. How about we hear a little bit of that now?
Well, it goes something like this.
All right. Yeah, about sums it up. No one has more fun than we do here at Late Night with David Letterman, every night at 12:30 a.m. on your NBC network. And trust me, the only way we could have more fun is if I personally came to your house and tickled you on your couch. And we're working on that, so be careful what you wish for. Now with that visual in mind, it's time for viewer mail, everybody. Viewer mail. All right, this letter comes to us from the official David Letterman fan club in Koreatown, right here in New York City. And it says, Dear Dave, it was really nice to have you visit our Korean barbecue restaurant with your camera crew upon your return from LA. We're sorry we didn't get all your jokes, like we didn't really understand why you kept asking, is the pork really pork? Wink, wink. Or why you kept asking your camera crew, hey guys, ever notice you never hear barking or see any stray dogs in Koreatown? But we we just laughed anyway because our culture is to always be polite, and you are always a good tipper. Well, thank you. And he continues, but as you know, the world has become very unsettled with Kim Jong-un's almost weekly missile tests that often come way too close for comfort to their neighbors South Korea and Taiwan, recently firing missiles directly into Taiwanese airspace. I remember that. Did you hear about that, Paul? That was scary. That was scary stuff. I mean, let me just say, test firing missiles is the worst, okay, from your neighbors. It's the worst. It should be just common sense, right? That it would be very unsettling and bad neighbor behavior. That's why, Paul, I live in Connecticut, in a nice Connecticut suburb with a really strict homeowners association, and they stipulate right in the agreement when you move in, Paul, they specifically stipulate that missile test launches will not be tolerated. See, that's what the world needs, Paul. Yeah, it needs a homeowners association, and I'm not talking about a new world order, just a strict homeowners association that would sit down and enforce the bylaws with Kim Jong-un, show him in black and white. Look, it says right here on page 6, paragraph 3, subsection A. Right here, it says ICBM missile test launches will not be tolerated, and it even says on the 4th of July. I don't know why Kim Jong-un would be celebrating the 4th of July, but they put that in there just to put it. But back to the letter from the official David Letterman fan club in Koreatown. He continues, we recently found out that Kim Jong-un's brother frequently stays in a top penthouse in Trump Tower. Trump Tower, who would have thought, Paul? So we'd like to respond with strength, he says, and we'd like to perform our own Koreatown missile test launch directly over the penthouse. And we'd like to have your Late Night with David Letterman show film the launch directly from Central Park. Well, hot damn, Paul. I mean, that sounds awesome. And that definitely beats dropping a watermelon from the roof, doesn't it? All right, so of course we agreed to their request in a millisecond. And let's go now to the actual countdown of the Late Night with David Letterman Koreatown missile test launch from Central Park here in New York City.
And we're going in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition!
Al, tell me it cleared the penthouse? It cleared the building, right? And do we know if it landed yet, where it came down? Possibly the Hamptons. All right, well, we'll see if we get any complaints to the network, but the Late Night with David Letterman Koreatown missile test launch, everybody. Stay tuned, we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.